Yo guys, I'm Yellow, the Norwegian hardcore PC gamer, and at last I'm back, thanks to Google giving me some video monetization complications, but yeah, me being hit with that is not really too relevant for the subject here. So this is the walk that I talked about. This is low graphics settings on the new Dust2, and yeah, as promised, I'm gonna walk around here on the map and just take a look at how it looks. Now, I'm gonna talk about a lot of other things on the side, for example, some of the stuff that Valve have done to this map, some intricacies with the design choices of therefore optimizing this map, and just some opinions aside from also a little bit of hardware talk and recommendations for the future, since I have come to realize that if anybody out there currently have a really outdated PC, you're kind of sort of getting slightly silly in expecting a very old PC to last forever. That is sadly not the case yet. However, I'm going to make a video about that subject on its own, which is going to surprise a lot of people out there that have old PC hardware laying about. So yeah, as for this map, you can probably already see that relative to and compared to the previous run, this is incredibly much more sleek than the previous run, because the previous run was at the max settings. This one as it is at the lowest, except for some basic things. For example, I set anisotropic filtering to 16 so that the low end resolution textures are still crisp long distance, and aside from that, I'm also recording at 1080p because that is basically the professional standard, so that gives us a very crisp look at what we are dealing with, even though everything else is at the lower settings, as I enjoy to play this game with. So, moving therefore onwards, regarding optimization of this map, I think that this is Valve's best attempt with the worst kind of parts, and by parts I mean the source engine. It feels like this engine have now been pushed to the utmost brink of what it is able to do, and that is sucky to us people, because us players, some of us, we have really good parts, and some of us just have parts that have multiple cores and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, sure, that is going to help with the Windows 10 Fall Creator Update. That one is focusing a lot on giving people with more cores than just 4 for their PC a lot more stability. So smaller things like that is obviously going to help the performance here. But for the source engine and also the intricacy of how this map is designed, I gotta say that not only is the source engine feeling outdated, but you can see that there's a lot of details here at the lowest settings that still could be removed, and they would not impact my gameplay at all. It would only be beneficial because if I, for example, therefore were stuck on my previous PC, that would allow me to maintain an even higher frame rate despite my PC being fairly old. I mean, I'm obviously now referring to an FX 8350 overclocked to 5 GHz with an older graphics card, my good old-fashioned 7970, even though that is not the parts I'm currently running, okay? But yeah, point in case is that Valve could do a lot more in terms of upping our frame rate, but they have decided not to, and there are probably a lot of legitimate and silly reasons for this. So let's go through some of those so that we can kind of sort of understand where Valve is coming from. So from the get-go, Valve have an image to maintain, and that means that their game have to look good even when it's not being played with good settings in order for them to look good as a company. At least that is my basic idea of what I might think might be one of Valve's more smaller reasons, but it's nonetheless a reason if you are a game developer. Therefore, they're enforcing upon us a game that looks very polished in the sense of the graphics settings and just the intricacy of what I'm looking at here. Windows and a lack of antennas, but antennas all around nonetheless. And you know what? I guess that from a design standpoint and from a standpoint of wanting to look good, that is fine. Hell, even the textures on the ground right beneath me right here, by the way, are very advanced. I think there was like 3 textures altogether, but they're put together in such a very nuanced way. It looks like there's a lot of detail there, while in reality, it's kind of like just 2 or 3 textures altogether. So I gotta say, Valve really know what they're doing in terms of making the most out of the least, and that is something I on my own can kind of respect and enjoy. Nonetheless, some people out there, they might still therefore try and look towards getting other fixes onto this game, and this is where Valve probably have also decided to not give too much of a damn, and I can't blame them too much in this climate of PC hardware. You see, the case is that currently today, you can get a very, very good deal on a system This is going to be my basic mid-tier build recommendation, by the way, but do feel free to change it however you please, even though this one is made from the mindset of getting the most for your money, also over the longest time span. So if you decided to now go with a Ryzen 1600 CPU, which I would recommend, even though I don't have it, and you pair that one with an NVIDIA GPU, let's say the 1060 3 or 6 gigabyte edition from NVIDIA, obviously, that is going to give you a very, very fair performance. My PC currently, though, is way better in terms of the specs, but also what I need it for. I render videos at a fairly high quality nowadays anyway, so that's gonna help. I got the 1800X paired with a Vega 64 that I bought very early on, so I got it for a relatively reasonable price, even though it's obviously overkill. Even though, again, it's not overkill if you're gonna render out videos, and I gotta say, I'm very pleased with how it performs in that avenue. As for esport styled games and people that enjoy esport games, these parts I just listed are obviously overkill, but the mid-tier parts are not. They're actually going to be incredibly awesome for anybody that decide to upgrade. Hell, you even get support for future upgrades with Ryzen all the way down to 2020. That is 3 or 2 years into the future, which is absolutely insane when you think about the actual performance improvement you will get without having to swap out a lot of parts. So I guess to wrap up this video, I am pretty okay. I gotta give this map 7.8 out of 10 because it could have a better frame rate because of how people have more lower end PCs. But remember always, people, that you should eventually upgrade your PC. The older it is, the less it's gonna hold up, until we get to a subject I want to cover in my next video, which is about how we are almost conquering 1080p. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully this gave you guys some insight into this map and the lay of the land of PC performance. Here are 2 related videos if you want to get smarter or better at CSGO. If you want to support my channel in these turbulent YouTube times, I would recommend you to become a Patreon. Again, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and don't get beastified when you play.